Imagine a battlefield where gunfire and explosions are replaced by laughter and songs. This was the extraordinary reality during the Christmas truce of 1914. Amidst the grim conditions of World War I, soldiers from opposing sides, mainly British and German troops, found a moment of humanity on Christmas Eve. As the sun set, they began to sing carols, such as Silent Night, which resonated across the trenches. The sound of their voices created a bridge over the barbed wire and mud that separated them. This unexpected moment of peace led to soldiers cautiously emerging from their dugouts, exchanging greetings and gifts, cigarettes, food, and even souvenirs. It was a spontaneous celebration of Christmas, a shared humanity that defied the orders of their superiors. In some areas, they even engaged in friendly games of soccer, showcasing that even in the darkest times, the spirit of Christmas can spark a profound connection. While the truce was short-lived, lasting only a few days, it remains a powerful symbol of peace and goodwill in the face of war. This remarkable event is a reminder that even in conflict, empathy can shine through, illuminating our shared humanity. In the early 1920s, aviation was soaring to new heights, but so were fears surrounding its safety. Enter the Lindbergh Fund, established by Charles Lindbergh, the famed aviator who captivated the world with his transatlantic flight in 1927. However, the thrill of flight was marred by a series of tragic accidents and the growing threat of sabotage. The Lindbergh Fund aimed to combat these dangers and enhance public confidence in aviation. Launched in 1928, the fund focused on research and development of safety measures, including improved aircraft design and pilot training. Lindbergh, an innovative thinker, believed that accidents could be significantly reduced through better technology and practices. The fund attracted support from both the aviation industry and the public, fostering a collaborative approach to safety. It sponsored studies that led to advancements, such as the development of more reliable engines and better navigational aids. The Lindbergh Fund not only underscored the importance of safety in aviation, but also laid the groundwork for future advancements. Its legacy reminds us that progress often comes hand in hand with vigilance and responsibility, ensuring that the skies remain safe for all adventurers. In May 1940, over 330,000 Allied troops found themselves stranded on the beaches of Dunkirk, France, surrounded by German forces. With their situation dire, a miracle unfolded through Operation Dynamo. This evacuation saw a diverse fleet of naval ships, civilian boats, and fishing vessels mobilized to rescue soldiers under enemy fire. Civilians, driven by courage and a sense of duty, crossed the English Channel, showcasing extraordinary bravery. They faced bombings and the chaos of war, yet their resolve never wavered. This operation not only saved lives, but also transformed into a symbol of unity and resilience, forever known as the Dunkirk Spirit. Soldiers recount their harrowing experiences, highlighting the indomitable human spirit that thrives in the face of despair. The Dunkirk evacuation became pivotal in boosting Allied morale and altering the course of World War II. It inspired countless works of art and literature, leaving a lasting legacy that emphasizes perseverance. The story of Dunkirk serves as a powerful reminder that even in the darkest hours, hope and heroism can rise from chaos, proving that unity can overcome insurmountable odds. In the early 16th century, the Aztec Empire was a powerful force in Mesoamerica, but its downfall came from unexpected alliances that shifted the balance of power. When Hernán Cortés landed in Mexico in 1519, he encountered not only the formidable Aztec warriors, but also various indigenous groups discontented with Aztec rule. These communities, such as the Tlaxcalans, had suffered under the oppressive tribute system imposed by the Aztecs. Seeing an opportunity, they forged alliances with Cortés, providing him with vital support, soldiers, and knowledge of the terrain. As Cortés advanced towards Tenochtitlan, the Aztec capital, he faced a series of challenges. The alliance with the Tlaxcalans proved crucial, allowing him to bolster his forces significantly. Additionally, the spread of smallpox among the Aztecs decimated their population, further weakening their ability to resist. By August 1521, Tenochtitlan fell to the combined forces of Cortés and his indigenous allies. This conquest not only marked the end of the Aztec Empire, but also reshaped Mesoamerican society, leading to the establishment of Spanish colonial rule and a profound cultural transformation that would resonate through history.
The Vikings, known for their fierce warrior culture and expansive exploration, met an unexpected downfall, and it wasn't just from battle. At the height of their power, Viking settlements stretched from Scandinavia to North America, but a hidden threat was lurking within their own population. Recent genetic studies have revealed a surprising fact. Viking men had a strong preference for blue-eyed blonde women. This preference was so strong that it led to a form of sexual selection, dramatically altering the genetic makeup of Viking populations over time. As blonde, blue-eyed individuals became more prevalent, the Viking gene pool began to lose its diversity. This lack of genetic diversity made the Vikings more susceptible to diseases and genetic disorders. As their population became more homogeneous, the Vikings' natural resistance to various diseases diminished. This genetic vulnerability, combined with other factors like climate change and political shifts, contributed significantly to the decline of Viking dominance. The very trait that Viking men found so attractive ultimately played a role in their civilization's downfall. Today, while blonde hair and blue eyes remain common in Scandinavia, the population has regained its genetic diversity, serving as a reminder of the importance of variation in human populations.
In the late 15th century, a monumental decision was made that would alter the course of global exploration: the Treaty of Tordesillas. This agreement, signed in 1494, was prompted by intense rivalry between Spain and Portugal, both eager to stake their claims in the newly discovered lands of the Americas. The Pope intervened, proposing a demarcation line 370 leagues west of the Canary Islands. This would allow Spain to claim everything to the west of the line and Portugal the east. As a result, South America was largely split into two, with Brazil falling under Portuguese influence while the rest of the continent became Spanish territory. The treaty significantly impacted the culture, language, and politics of the Americas. It also highlighted the interplay of power and religion during Age of Exploration. However, the agreement was not without its complications. Other European powers, like England and France, soon disregarded the treaty, leading to further conflicts and territorial claims. The Treaty of Tordesillas is a fascinating example of how diplomacy shaped international relations, creating divisions that still echo in modern geopolitics. In the early 18th century, smallpox wreaked havoc across Europe, claiming countless lives. Amidst this crisis, a remarkable figure emerged: Lady Mary Wortley Montagu. In her quest to protect her children and challenge the prevailing medical norms, she championed a revolutionary idea: smallpox inoculation. In 1718, while in Turkey, she witnessed a local practice where individuals were deliberately infected with a mild form of the disease. This method intrigued her, and upon returning to England, she decided to advocate for this life-saving technique. In a bold letter to her close friend, she outlined the benefits of inoculation, describing its effectiveness and how it could prevent severe outbreaks. Lady Montagu's correspondence sparked a debate among medical professionals and the public. Despite resistance from some physicians who believed in variolation, her passionate defense of inoculation laid the groundwork for acceptance. Inoculation would eventually lead to the development of the smallpox vaccine, saving millions. Lady Montagu's courage to challenge the status quo and advocate for her children not only transformed public health, but also demonstrated the power of a single voice in the fight against disease. In 1648, the Peace of Westphalia ended the 30 Years' War, a devastating conflict that ravaged Europe for nearly 3 decades. But this treaty did more than just silence the guns. It fundamentally altered the political landscape of the continent. At its core, the Peace of Westphalia consisted of 2 treaties: the Treaty of Münster, and the Treaty of Osnabrück. These agreements recognized the sovereignty of various states and laid the groundwork for modern international relations. One of the most crucial aspects was the principle of cuius regio, eius religio, which allowed rulers to determine their state's religion, promoting a new era of religious tolerance. This shift diminished the power of the Catholic Church over state affairs, fostering the emergence of nation-states. The peace also redrew borders, granting territories to Sweden, France, and the Dutch Republic, while weakening the Habsburgs and the Holy Roman Empire's influence. The treaties marked a turning point, ending the notion of a united Christendom and paving the way for a more pluralistic Europe, where diverse political entities coexisted, setting a precedent for future diplomatic negotiations and international law. Imagine navigating a perilous mountain pass, where fierce storms and treacherous terrain threaten lives daily. This was the reality at the Great St. Bernard Pass, a vital route through the Alps connecting Switzerland and Italy. In the early 19th century, this treacherous path became infamous for its deadly conditions, leading to numerous accidents and lost souls. However, amidst the chaos, a remarkable rescue operation emerged, showcasing human bravery and ingenuity. The Great St. Bernard Hospice, established in 962, became a beacon of hope. The monks and their dedicated St. Bernard dogs patrolled the icy slopes, risking their lives to save stranded travelers. These iconic rescue dogs, renowned for their keen sense of smell and strength, navigated snowstorms to locate lost individuals. Their efforts were not just heroic. They inspired tales of survival and compassion. Each successful rescue forged deep bonds between humans and dogs, highlighting the importance of teamwork in adversity. The legacy of these daring rescues lives on, celebrating the spirit of adventure and the relentless will to save lives in one of the world's most unforgiving environments. Imagine a world where books were rare treasures, accessible only to the privileged. In the 15th century, this changed dramatically with the invention of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg. This revolutionary device, developed around 1440 in Mainz, Germany, enabled the mass production of texts, making literature and knowledge available to the common person for the first time. Prior to this, books were painstakingly copied by hand, a process that was slow and expensive. Gutenberg's press used movable type, allowing letters to be arranged and reused, which significantly sped up the printing process. His most famous work, the Gutenberg Bible, was printed in 1455 and is considered one of the first major books produced using this technique. The impact of the printing press was profound. It sparked the spread of ideas, fueled the Renaissance, and played a crucial role in the Reformation by making religious texts widely available. Literacy rates soared as books became more affordable. This innovation fundamentally altered the course of history, paving the way for the Enlightenment and the modern age. The printing press did not just produce books, it transformed society itself, democratizing knowledge and empowering generations to come. What if a single epidemic could reshape an entire civilization? The Antonine Plague, occurring from 165 to 180 AD, was one of the deadliest pandemics in Roman history. Thought to have originated from troops returning from campaigns in the East, this devastating disease, likely smallpox or measles, wreaked havoc across the empire. It is estimated that the plague claimed the lives of over 5 million people, significantly impacting Rome's population. As fear spread, so did the effects on society. The workforce dwindled, agriculture faltered, and the economy suffered. Trade routes were disrupted, leading to inflation and scarcity of goods. The Antonine Plague also altered public health responses. It forced the Roman government to address health crises more seriously. Moreover, this epidemic influenced religious practices, as many turned to gods for protection, leading to a rise in superstition and the early growth of Christianity, which promised salvation. In a society built on conquest and stability, the Antonine Plague marked a turning point that contributed to the eventual decline of the Roman Empire, reminding us how interconnected our lives are and the profound effects of health on society. The Bermuda Triangle, a region in the North Atlantic Ocean, is infamous for the mysterious disappearances of ships and aircraft. One of the most notable cases is that of Flight 19, a group of 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers that vanished on December 5, 1945, during a training flight. Despite extensive search efforts, no trace was found, deepening the enigma surrounding the triangle. Another chilling incident involved the USS Cyclops, a Navy cargo ship that disappeared in March 1918 with over 300 men aboard. No wreckage was ever recovered, sparking numerous theories about its fate. The strange occurrences don't end there. In 1918, the SS Marine Sulphur Queen, a tanker carrying molten sulfur, also vanished without a trace, illustrating the triangle's eerie reputation. Many theories have been proposed, ranging from magnetic anomalies to methane hydrate eruptions. Yet, the lack of conclusive evidence leaves experts puzzled. The Bermuda Triangle continues to capture the imagination of adventurers and scientists alike, serving as a haunting reminder of nature's unpredictable power and the mysteries that lie beneath the waves. Imagine a society where art and architecture flourished thousands of years ago. Welcome to the Minoan civilization, an extraordinary culture that thrived on the island of Crete around 2000 BCE. This advanced society is renowned for its stunning palaces, notably the Grand Palace of Knossos, adorned with vibrant frescoes depicting scenes of nature, rituals, and daily life. The Minoans were not just builders. They were also skilled artisans, producing intricate pottery and jewelry that showcased their advanced craftsmanship. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Minoans is their writing system, known as Linear A, which remains undeciphered, leaving many mysteries surrounding their language and culture. They were a seafaring people, engaging in extensive trade across the Mediterranean, influencing and being influenced by neighboring civilizations. However, their civilization mysteriously declined around 1450 BCE, possibly due to natural disasters like earthquakes or volcanic eruptions, or invasions by the Mycenaeans. Despite their disappearance, the legacy of the Minoans continues to captivate historians and archaeologists, offering a glimpse into a sophisticated society that laid the foundations for future civilizations in the region. On October 4, 1957, the world was captivated as the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1, the first artificial satellite. This momentous event sent shockwaves across the globe, marking the dawn of the space age and igniting a fierce competition between superpowers. Sputnik was a simple metal sphere, but its significance was profound. It orbited the Earth every 96 minutes, emitting a beeping signal that could be heard by anyone with a radio. This accomplishment not only showcased Soviet technological prowess, but also instilled fear in the United States, leading to a rapid escalation in technological and military advancements. The launch altered global perceptions. It highlighted the potential of space exploration and underscored the urgency for the U.S. to catch up. In response, America initiated programs that would eventually lead to the creation of NASA and the Apollo missions. The implications were far-reaching, influencing education, defense, and international relations. The success of Sputnik did not just mark a victory for the Soviets, it set humanity on an irreversible path toward exploring the final frontier, reshaping society's understanding of our place in the universe and what lay beyond our planet. On the fateful day of 22nd October 1895, Montparnasse train station in Paris became the stage for a disaster that would haunt the city. As a steam locomotive pulled into the station, its brakes failed, leading to a catastrophic crash. The locomotive burst through the station wall, showering debris on the bustling street below. Shocked bystanders watched in horror as the massive engine precariously hung over the edge, a testament to the chaos that had just unfolded. The aftermath revealed the extent of the destruction, with broken bricks and shattered glass littering the area. Emergency crews rushed in to remove the wreckage, while the incident sparked debates on rail safety and engineering standards across France. Imagine a courtroom where the defendant is a corpse. This bizarre reality unfolded in 897 AD during the infamous Cadaver Synod. Pope Stephen VI, driven by political rivalry and a thirst for revenge, put the deceased Pope Formosus on trial. Formosus, who had died 2 years earlier, was exhumed, dressed in papal garments, and propped up on a throne in the courtroom. Ironically, this trial was less about justice and more about settling scores in a tumultuous period of papal politics. Pope Stephen VI accused Formosus of various crimes, including violating church law by accepting episcopal appointments while being a bishop of another church. The trial was attended by bishops and members of the Roman nobility, who were astonished by the macabre spectacle. Ultimately, Formosus was found guilty, and his papacy was declared invalid. His corpse was stripped of its papal vestments and thrown into the Tiber River. This shocking event starkly illustrates how deeply personal vendettas influenced the papacy and how far political intrigue could go in medieval Rome. The Cadaver Synod remains one of the most bizarre episodes in papal history, revealing the lengths to which power struggles can drive individuals. Imagine a vast empire, once the pinnacle of power and culture, unraveling under the weight of political turmoil and economic decline. This was the reality for the Roman Empire during a tumultuous period of strife and instability. Starting in the late 2nd century, the empire faced a relentless series of crises. Military defeats, rampant inflation, and a succession of short-lived emperors turned the once stable governance into chaos. The frequent assassinations and coups d'état contributed to an environment of distrust and fear, leading to a lack of effective leadership. As provincial governors began to assert their power, the central authority crumbled. In this vacuum, the empire's economy suffered. Trade routes became perilous, currency devalued, and agricultural production faltered. The populace, facing famine and unrest, turned to new religions and philosophies, seeking solace amid despair. This period saw the rise of usurpers and the fracturing of the empire into competing factions. Ultimately, these crises laid the groundwork for significant reforms, leading to a restructured empire that would endure for centuries. The lessons learned from this chaos reflected the resilience and adaptability of one of history's greatest civilizations. On November 9, 1989, the world witnessed a monumental shift as the Berlin Wall, a concrete symbol of division, fell, marking the collapse of a divided Europe. For 28 years, this wall separated families and friends, embodying the stark contrast between communism and democracy. The unexpected announcement of open borders during a press conference led to an overwhelming surge of citizens flocking to the wall, while border guards stood helplessly by. The joyous scenes of people dismantling the wall captured the essence of hope, freedom, and unity. This event not only signified the end of the Cold War, but also set the stage for Germany's reunification. Politically, it signaled a shift towards democracy in Eastern Europe and inspired movements worldwide advocating for freedom and rights. Culturally, it represented a resurgence of shared identity, breaking down barriers that had long separated communities. The fall of the Berlin Wall remains a beacon of change, illustrating the power of collective action. It reminds us that unity can triumph over division, reshaping histories and dreams for a more connected, cooperative world. Its legacy continues to inspire those who fight against oppression globally. In 1582, Pope Gregory XIII introduced the Gregorian calendar to replace the Julian calendar, which was miscalculating the solar year. The Julian calendar added an extra day every 4 years, leading to a drift against the seasons. By the 18th century, this discrepancy had grown significant, necessitating a reform. By 1752, Britain and its colonies decided to adopt the Gregorian system. This meant that after September 2nd, the next day was September 14th, effectively removing 11 days from the calendar. This abrupt change sparked confusion and discontent among the public. Many were outraged, demanding their lost days back, leading to protests like the infamous "Give Us Our 11 Days" movement. People questioned the legitimacy of the new calendar, fearing they had been cheated. The transition affected various facets of society, including agriculture and commerce, as people adjusted to the new dates. The shift not only standardized timekeeping across nations, but also laid the groundwork for modern calendars worldwide. Today, the Gregorian calendar is the most widely used civil calendar, showcasing the importance of precision in timekeeping in our daily lives. What happens when a region rises against its powerful rulers? The Great Catalan Revolt, also known as the Reapers' War, is one of those gripping tales of rebellion. It unfolded in the mid-17th century when Catalonia, feeling the oppressive weight of Castilian authority, sparked a fierce insurrection. The revolt began in 1640, fueled by heavy taxation and military exploitation by the Spanish crown. The infamous incident known as the Corpus de Sang ignited the flames of rebellion, when a skirmish between citizens and troops escalated into widespread violence. Catalans initially sought to free themselves from Castilian dominance, rallying behind the banner of the Catalan Republic. Inspiring leaders like the peasant and rebel captain Pau Claris took the helm, aiming to establish Catalonia's autonomy. The revolt saw alliances formed with France, further complicating the political landscape. Despite early successes, the conflict dragged on, leading to brutal reprisals from the Castilian forces. The Great Catalan Revolt ultimately became a symbol of resistance, marking a pivotal moment in the struggle for regional identity and autonomy that resonates even today. The echoes of this historical struggle remind us of the enduring quest for self-determination. In 1932, Australia faced an unusual adversary: emus. After World War I, veterans were granted land in Western Australia to farm. However, they were soon besieged by a massive influx of emus. These flightless birds, in search of food and water, invaded the agricultural fields, wreaking havoc on crops. The situation escalated, prompting the government to intervene. They deployed soldiers armed with machine guns to combat the emu menace. The mission, later dubbed the Great Emu War, began with military precision but quickly descended into chaos. Emus proved surprisingly elusive and resilient. They would scatter in all directions when the soldiers approached, making accurate shooting nearly impossible. In the end, the soldiers only managed to cull a small fraction of the emu population. After multiple failed attempts, the government withdrew the troops and acknowledged defeat. The emus triumphed, their numbers undiminished. This peculiar episode highlights the challenges of wildlife management and human intervention in nature. Ultimately, the Great Emu War remains a bizarre and humorous chapter in Australian history, illustrating the unpredictable outcomes of conflict, even when the enemy has feathers and a beak. Imagine walking into a vast crystal palace filled with the wonders of human ingenuity and creativity. The Great Exhibition of 1851, held in London's Hyde Park, was the first international showcase of industry and culture. Spanning from May to October, this monumental event attracted over 6 million visitors, all eager to witness the technological advancements of the age. Designed by Joseph Paxton, the Crystal Palace itself was an architectural marvel, a massive glass and iron structure that symbolized the era's progress. Inside, visitors marveled at exhibits ranging from the latest steam engines to intricate textiles and exotic goods from around the globe. This grand assembly was not just about showcasing products. It represented a cultural exchange, fostering international cooperation and competition. Countries like France, the United States, and even the Ottoman Empire proudly displayed their innovations. The Great Exhibition also highlighted the Industrial Revolution's impact, reflecting how technology was reshaping society. The event laid the groundwork for future world fairs and inspired generations of inventors and artists. It was a celebration of what humanity could achieve when innovation and creativity converged. Imagine a wave of molasses rushing through the streets, sweeping away everything in its path. This bizarre reality struck Boston on January 15, 1919, when a massive storage tank burst, releasing over 2 million gallons of thick, sticky molasses. The tank, part of the Purity Distilling Company, was overfilled and poorly constructed, leading to structural failure. The tidal wave of sugary syrup surged through the North End neighborhood at 35 miles per hour, demolishing buildings, uprooting trees, and tragically killing 21 people while injuring about 150 others. Amidst the chaos, rescue efforts were hampered as firefighters struggled with the viscous flood, which froze in the cold, complicating recovery efforts. Local residents and businesses found themselves dealing with the aftermath, with the sticky substance lingering for years, creating an enduring, sweet scent in the area. In the wake of this disaster, legal battles ensued, resulting in a significant court case that highlighted issues of safety regulations and corporate responsibility. The Great Molasses Flood remains a unique chapter in Boston's history, blending tragedy with the absurdity of a flood from a food item. Have you ever wondered how a single event can reshape an entire society? The Great Plague of 1656, primarily affecting Spain, did just that. This devastating epidemic killed an estimated 500,000 people in Madrid alone. It started in the mid-1650s, as the city was already grappling with economic hardship and food shortages. The population, already weakened, faced this new calamity with little resilience. As plague spread, fear took hold. Families abandoned their sick members, and the streets became eerily quiet. The government struggled to cope, as hospitals overflowed and burial sites became overcrowded. The public health response was inadequate, exacerbating the crisis. As the death toll rose, traditional social structures began to collapse, leading to chaos and despair. Merchants, artisans, and laborers were particularly hard hit, altering the workforce significantly. After the plague waned, the demographic shifts became apparent. A reduced population meant more jobs and land available, ultimately paving the way for economic recovery. This transformation marked a crucial turning point in Madrid's history, influencing its social fabric for generations to come. The echoes of this tragedy remind us of the delicate balance within societies. In the mid-19th century, Ireland faced a catastrophe that would devastate its population and alter its course forever: the Great Potato Famine. Beginning in 1845, a potato disease known as late blight swept across the country, obliterating the staple crop that fed millions. Potatoes were the backbone of Irish agriculture and diet, particularly for the impoverished rural population. With the crop failing year after year, widespread starvation ensued. By the time the famine ended in 1852, approximately 1 million people had died, and another million emigrated, leading to a significant decline in Ireland's population. The British government's response was inadequate, marked by a lack of empathy and action. Policies that prioritized economic interests over humanitarian needs exacerbated the suffering, leading to resentment and anger among the Irish populace. The famine not only highlighted the vulnerabilities of a monoculture agricultural system, but also intensified the calls for Irish self-governance and sparked a national identity movement. This tragic chapter in history serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of agricultural dependency and neglect, forever shaping Ireland's socio-political landscape. Have you ever wondered what happens when a city's waste management fails spectacularly? In the sweltering summer of 1858, London faced a crisis known as the Great Stink. The heat wave exacerbated a dire sewage problem, pushing the Thames River beyond its limits. For years, raw human waste and industrial runoff had been dumped directly into the river, creating a stench so unbearable that it disrupted government sessions. The Parliament of the United Kingdom had to close its windows to combat the odor. The foul air led to health concerns, with many people fearing cholera outbreaks. Politicians were forced to take action. Suddenly, the Great Stink became a catalyst for change, prompting the urgent need for a proper sewage system in the rapidly growing metropolis. The visionary engineer Joseph Bazalgette proposed an elaborate network of sewers that would transport waste away from the city. His plan was implemented and eventually transformed London's sanitation infrastructure. The Great Stink not only illustrated the challenges of urbanization in the 19th century, but also marked a pivotal moment that led to significant improvements in public health and engineering practices. London learned a valuable lesson about the consequences of neglecting waste management. Did you know that the Kingston riots of 1938 were a pivotal moment in Jamaican history? Sparked by severe economic hardship, these riots highlighted the struggles of the working class, particularly women. In the wake of the Great Depression, many Jamaicans faced job losses and rising costs of living. This unrest culminated in protests that were largely led by women who demanded better wages, working conditions, and the right to vote. As their voices grew louder, so did the confrontation with authorities. The riots erupted in response to oppressive labor practices and the exploitation of workers by colonial authorities and businesses. Quick to respond, the government sent in police forces to quell the disturbances, leading to violent clashes. Yet, the resilience of these women and their allies initiated a broader dialogue about rights and representation. This event is often overshadowed in history, but was crucial in awakening public consciousness around gender and labor issues in Jamaica. The Kingston riots galvanized a generation of activists, setting the stage for future movements advocating for equality and justice. Through their courage, they transformed societal views, leaving a lasting impact on Jamaica's path towards independence. Have you ever heard of the great castle of Rapsburg? Nestled in the hills of Switzerland, this formidable fortress has a history that showcases not just architectural ingenuity, but also the tenacity of the human spirit. Constructed in the 13th century, Rapsburg was strategically built to guard the trade routes that traversed the region, making it a crucial military stronghold. The castle's design featured thick walls and sturdy towers, optimized for defense against invaders. Its strategic location allowed the defenders to oversee the surrounding valleys, providing early warnings of approaching threats. However, Rapsburg was more than just a military fortress. It was a vibrant hub of medieval life. The castle hosted gatherings, feasts, and even local governance, becoming a center for the community. Over the centuries, it withstood numerous sieges and battles, each time emerging resilient, reflecting the spirit of those who called it home. Ultimately, it became a symbol of perseverance, embodying the struggles faced during tumultuous times. Despite its decline in the late 17th century, the legacy of Rapsburg endures, reminding us of the strength found in fortification and the stories etched in stone. Imagine a bustling port city, once a commercial hub, now lost beneath the waves. Welcome to Herakleion, an ancient Egyptian city that thrived around the 6th century BCE. Discovered in 2000 off the coast of Alexandria, this submerged metropolis reveals an extraordinary past. Herakleion was known for its grand temples, including one dedicated to the god Amun, and its impressive harbor, which facilitated trade across the Mediterranean. Wealth flowed through its streets, and it served as a vital link between the Egyptian interior and the wider world. However, by the 8th century CE, Herakleion vanished, swallowed by the sea due to a combination of natural disasters and rising sea levels. For centuries, its existence faded into myth until its rediscovery. Archaeologists unveiled a treasure trove of artifacts, including sculptures, inscriptions, and even well-preserved shipwrecks. These discoveries paint a vivid picture of life in this vibrant city, showcasing the blend of Egyptian and Greek cultures. Herakleion teaches us about the fragility of human achievements and the relentless power of nature. The city's underwater ruins stand as a poignant reminder of the past, waiting to reveal more secrets to those willing to explore its depths. Imagine picking up a newspaper in 1835 and reading that life had been discovered on the moon. This was the shocking headline that gripped readers of The Sun, a New York City newspaper, when it published a series of articles claiming the existence of lunar beings. The Great Moon Hoax began with a series of 6 articles penned by writer Richard Adams Locke, who depicted a fantastical world filled with exotic creatures resembling humans. The stories included descriptions of winged, bat-like beings and immense, sapphire-like crystals. Locke's vivid imagination captured the public's attention, leading many to believe the tales were factual. At the time, astronomy was a subject of immense interest due to advancements in telescope technology, and the public was eager to learn more about the cosmos. The articles created a sensational stir, with readers flocking to newsstands to get their hands on the latest installments. Although The Sun later revealed the hoax, the impact was significant. This event showcased the power of media to shape public perception and sparked a lasting conversation about truth in journalism, an issue still relevant today. The Great Moon Hoax remains a fascinating example of how the boundaries of reality can blur in the name of entertainment. Have you ever heard of an airship that became a ghost? In 1942, during World War II, the United States Navy operated a fleet of airships, including the L-8, famously known as the Ghost Blimp. On August 16th, this airship launched from Treasure Island, California, on a routine patrol over the Pacific Ocean. Its mission was to locate Japanese submarines, a significant threat to the West Coast. However, things took a bizarre turn. When the L-8 returned to land, it was found floating off the coast of California, empty and adrift. The most chilling part? The crew of 2 was nowhere to be found. Inside the cabin, investigators discovered personal belongings, including a life raft, and the engines were still running. This strange occurrence sparked numerous theories. Some believed the crew had spotted a submarine and jumped out, while others speculated they encountered a tragic accident. Despite extensive searches, neither of the crew members, Lieutenant D.E. McNamara and Ensign J.C. Goff, was ever found. The mystery of the Ghost Blimp remains unsolved, leaving historians and enthusiasts intrigued by this eerie episode from World War II. In 532 A.D., Constantinople was a bustling metropolis, but beneath its surface, discontent brewed. The Nika riots erupted during the chariot races at the Hippodrome, igniting one of the most significant uprisings in Byzantine history. 2 factions, the Blues and the Greens, initially united against Emperor Justinian I due to grievances over high taxes and autocratic rule. Their chant of Nika, meaning victory, soon morphed into a call for rebellion. What started as a sports rivalry quickly escalated into chaos as the crowds, fueled by anger and frustration, set fire to large parts of the city, including the Hagia Sophia. Justinian, initially stunned, considered fleeing but ultimately resolved to quell the insurrection. He dispatched his loyal general Belisarius, who led a brutal counterattack. The riots culminated in a massacre in the Hippodrome, where thousands perished. The aftermath saw Justinian solidify his power, but the Nika riots reshaped the political landscape, showcasing the volatility of public sentiment in the empire. This dramatic event remains a powerful reminder of the consequences of governance and the people's voice in history. In the year 1830, a powerful surge of unrest erupted on the Salisbury Plain, igniting what would become known as the Salisbury Plain Riot. As the agricultural landscape of England rapidly transformed due to industrialization, many laborers faced drastic changes to their livelihoods. The introduction of new farming technologies rendered traditional jobs obsolete, pushing workers into poverty. Fueled by desperation, the laborers of Salisbury rallied together, demanding fair wages and better working conditions. The situation escalated when a group of disgruntled workers gathered, determined to make their voices heard. The local authorities, threatened by this united front, responded with force. On that fateful day, the tensions reached a boiling point, and clashes broke out between the workers and the police. The riot became a symbol of the struggle for workers' rights during a time of profound change. It highlighted the stark divide between the wealthy landowners and the impoverished laborers. While the riot itself was quelled, It marked a significant moment in labor history, showcasing the fight for dignity and fair treatment in an era of industrial upheaval. Imagine a world where warriors ride horses like the wind, their arrows raining down on foes with deadly precision. Enter the Scythians, a nomadic group that roamed the steppes of Central Asia from around the 9th century BCE to the 1st century BCE. These fierce horsemen were not just warriors, they were a culture that thrived on mobility, skill, and strategy. The Scythians are particularly renowned for their exceptional horseback archery techniques. Their ability to shoot arrows while galloping at high speeds was revolutionary, making them formidable opponents against more stationary armies. Their bows were crafted from composite materials, blending wood, horn, and sinew, creating powerful and versatile weapons. The tactical prowess of the Scythians allowed them to dominate expansive territories, influencing many neighboring cultures and forcing empires like Persia to adapt to their guerrilla warfare tactics. Besides their military might, the Scythians had a rich cultural life, practicing unique burial customs, including elaborate kurgan mounds, where they honored their elite with lavish grave goods. This blend of artistry and warfare made the Scythians a unique and influential force in ancient history. What if I told you that a group of printing apprentices in 18th century Paris turned their frustrations into a macabre spectacle involving cats? This bizarre event, known as the Cat Massacre, unfolded around 1730 in the workshop of an esteemed printer. The apprentices, dissatisfied with their working conditions and the relentless demands of their masters, sought a means of protest that would be both shocking and absurd. With dark humor, they decided to execute the workshop's resident cats. They would gather the felines, often beloved by the printers, and ritually torture them, all while composing satirical poems that highlighted their grievances against the oppressive hierarchy of the printing trade. This gruesome display was not just an act of cruelty. It was a statement wrapped in irony and literary flair. The Cat Massacre serves as a striking example of how marginalized workers found their voices in a world that often silenced them. This peculiar intersection of art, rebellion, and tragedy paints a vivid picture of the struggles of 18th century artisans, making it a memorable footnote in the history of Parisian culture. On July 28, 1917, New York City witnessed a powerful yet quiet protest known as the Silent Parade. Organized by leaders of the African American community, it aimed to address the rampant racial violence and injustice faced by Black Americans. Over 10,000 participants marched down Fifth Avenue, dressed in white and holding placards calling for justice. The event was sparked by the lynching of African American soldiers in the South and was a direct response to the systemic racism prevalent at the time. The parade remained silent, emphasizing dignity and the need for change. This pivotal moment marked a significant step in the struggle for civil rights, aiming to unite the community against oppression. The space race was a Cold War-era competition between the United States and the Soviet Union, driven by a desire for technological supremacy and national pride. Sparked by the Soviet Union's launch of Sputnik in 1957, the race intensified as both nations sought to showcase their capabilities in space exploration. Each success was a significant propaganda tool, influencing public perception and international relations. The U.S. responded with the establishment of NASA and ambitious goals, ultimately culminating in the Apollo 11 mission. On July 20, 1969, Neil Armstrong's moon landing became a defining moment in human history, showcasing American ingenuity and determination. This achievement not only marked a victory in the space race, but also transformed the landscape of scientific research, leading to advancements in technology, telecommunications, and even everyday life. The space race ignited public interest in science and engineering, inspiring generations to pursue careers in these fields. It also set the stage for international cooperation in space exploration, culminating in projects like the International Space Station. The legacy of the space race continues to shape our exploration of the cosmos today, reminding us of the power of human ambition. What if I told you a conflict in the 19th century shook the very foundations of China? The Taiping Rebellion, lasting from 1850 to 1864, was a massive civil war ignited by Hong Xiuquan, who believed he was the younger brother of Jesus Christ. His vision of a heavenly kingdom attracted millions, fueled by discontent with the ruling Qing dynasty. The rebellion aimed to overthrow the Qing, promising land reforms and social equality. At its peak, the Taiping forces controlled vast territories and claimed a population of 30 million followers. This devastating conflict led to an estimated 20 million deaths, making it one of the deadliest wars in history. The rebellion not only altered the political landscape, but also instigated significant changes in Chinese society, spurring modernization efforts and inspiring future movements. Though the Taiping were ultimately defeated, their struggle highlighted the deep-seated issues within the Qing rule, depicting a society yearning for change. The aftermath reshaped China's trajectory, leading to a slow but inevitable transition towards modernization and reform, setting the stage for the transformations of the 20th century. In March 1782, an unsettling chapter unfolded in American history known as the Gnadenhutten Massacre. Amidst the backdrop of the Revolutionary War, tensions escalated between American settlers and Native American tribes. The Moravian missionaries, who had established a peaceful settlement in Gnadenhutten, Ohio, found themselves caught in the crossfire. This community had been dedicated to converting the Delaware people to Christianity and fostering harmony. However, as hostilities increased, the settlers viewed the Native Americans with suspicion and fear. On March 8th, local militia, fueled by the belief that these Native Americans were allied with British forces, descended upon Gnadenhutten. They arrested 96 men, women, and children from the village. Despite their peaceful intentions, the Moravians' pleas for mercy went unheard. In a brutal act of violence, the militia executed the captives in cold blood. This tragedy marked a significant moment in the history of frontier conflicts, showcasing the tragic consequences of misunderstanding and fear. The massacre raised questions about morality, justice, and the cost of war, leaving a scar on the collective memory of the region. In 1212, an extraordinary yet tragic event unfolded as thousands of children, inspired by fervent religious zeal, embarked on a journey to reclaim Jerusalem. Known as the Children's Crusade, this movement saw young boys and girls, believing they were divinely ordained, set out from France and Germany with dreams of converting Muslims and liberating the Holy City. Their innocence fueled a conviction that they could succeed where adults had failed. However, the reality was far grimmer. Many of these children were poorly equipped, lacking adequate food, shelter, or guidance. As they trudged through harsh terrains, facing starvation and exploitation, their numbers dwindled. Tragic tales emerged of parents searching for their lost children, only to discover they had been sold into slavery or perished along the way. The misguided crusade ended in heartbreak, with most never reaching their intended destination. While this event is often overshadowed by the more famous crusades, it highlights the complexities of faith, youth, and the harsh realities of medieval society. The Children's Crusade stands as a poignant reminder of how hope can lead to both extraordinary journeys and devastating outcomes. Discover history's hidden stories as we delve into the forgotten women of the American Revolution. While names like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson dominate the narrative, countless women played pivotal roles in shaping the course of history. These unsung heroines, from Abigail Adams to Mercy Otis Warren, contributed not only through traditional roles, but also as active participants in the fight for independence. Abigail Adams famously urged her husband to remember the ladies in the new laws, advocating for women's rights and representation. Women like Deborah Sampson disguised themselves as men to fight on the front lines, while others, such as the Daughters of Liberty, organized boycotts and wove blankets for soldiers, showcasing their resilience and ingenuity. Additionally, the impact of enslaved women and Native American women adds layers to this rich historical tapestry. They navigated complex identities and contributed to the war effort in unique ways. Join us as we explore these remarkable stories, celebrating the contributions of women who shaped the revolution and left an indelible mark on history. Their stories deserve acknowledgement, and through their legacies, we can better understand the path to freedom and equality. Have you ever heard of a woman leading a revolt against colonial powers? Meet Lala Fatma Nsoumeh, a remarkable figure in 19th century Algeria. Born in 1830, she emerged as a symbol of resistance against French colonization. Her story begins when she rallied her community to protect their land and culture, refusing to submit to foreign domination. After her father was killed, she became the leader of the Kabyle tribes in the Kabylie region. Fueled by a fierce determination, Lala enlisted both men and women in her cause, highlighting the critical role of women in the resistance movement. In 1857, she led a successful uprising that challenged French control, demonstrating unparalleled courage and tactical brilliance. Her forces fought valiantly, but the French military was relentless. Lala's leadership inspired hope among her people, and her reputation as a formidable warrior spread. Despite ultimately being forced into exile, her legacy endures as a testament to resilience and defiance. Today, Lala Fatma Nsoumeh stands as a powerful symbol of female empowerment and national pride in Algeria, reminding us that history is often shaped by extraordinary individuals. The sinking of the RMS Titanic on April 15, 1912, was a watershed moment that dramatically reshaped maritime safety regulations around the globe. This disaster, which resulted in the loss of over 1,500 lives, exposed profound flaws in safety protocols and the over-reliance on technology. Prior to the Titanic tragedy, ships were often considered unsinkable, a belief that was shattered when the luxury liner struck an iceberg on its maiden voyage. The aftermath led to a global reassessment of maritime safety practices. One significant change was the requirement for ships to carry enough lifeboats for all passengers, a direct response to the inadequate lifeboat capacity on the Titanic. Additionally, the establishment of the International Ice Patrol was created to monitor iceberg dangers in the North Atlantic, enhancing navigation safety. The Titanic catastrophe highlighted the necessity of rigorous training for crew members and the importance of emergency preparedness. This tragic event forever altered the landscape of maritime safety, underscoring the need to respect nature's power and ensuring that human ambition is always tempered by caution and responsibility.
In 1906 BCE, under the reign of Ptolemy I, a decree was inscribed on what would become one of the most significant artifacts in archaeological history, the Rosetta Stone. This remarkable stone, bearing inscriptions in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, Demotic script, and ancient Greek, would prove to be the key to unlocking the secrets of Egyptian writing. Fast forward to 1799, when French soldiers, during Napoleon's campaign in Egypt, stumbled upon this ancient artifact near the town of Rosetta. The discovery sparked a race to decipher the hieroglyphs, a challenge that would be conquered by the brilliant French scholar Jean-François Champollion in 1822. The Rosetta Stone's journey led it to the British Museum, where it became a centerpiece of their collection and a symbol of archaeological triumph. However, its presence in London has sparked ongoing debates about cultural heritage and the rightful ownership of ancient artifacts. Despite these controversies, the Rosetta Stone's impact on linguistics and our understanding of ancient cultures cannot be overstated. It remains a powerful symbol of cross-cultural understanding, bridging the gap between ancient civilizations and the modern world. As we continue to unravel the mysteries of the past, the Rosetta Stone stands as a testament to the enduring power of language and the human drive to understand our shared history.
The Rosetta Stone, created in 196 BCE during the Ptolemaic dynasty, is a monumental artifact that embodies the complexities of ancient Egyptian writing. Commissioned by a council of priests, the stone was inscribed with a decree praising King Ptolemy V, reflecting the fusion of Greek and Egyptian cultures under his rule. What makes this stone unique is its trilingual inscriptions, Greek, Demotic, and hieroglyphics, providing an invaluable resource for understanding ancient language. The Greek text served as a crucial reference point for scholars. Rediscovered by French soldiers in 1799 during Napoleon's expedition, the Rosetta Stone ignited a new passion for Egyptology. Scholars like Jean-François Champollion seized the opportunity to decipher the hieroglyphs, ultimately unlocking the secrets of ancient Egyptian civilization. Its journey to the British Museum in 1802 sparked ongoing debates regarding cultural heritage and rightful ownership. Today, the Rosetta Stone stands as a symbol of linguistic breakthrough and cross-cultural dialogue, reminding us of the importance of understanding our shared human history and the languages that connect us across time.
In 1585, English colonists set sail for the New World, establishing a settlement on Roanoke Island off the coast of what is now North Carolina. Led by John White, the colonists aimed to establish England's first permanent settlement in North America, but they faced numerous challenges from the start. Relations with the local Croatoan tribe were initially friendly, but soon deteriorated due to misunderstandings and conflicts over resources. As supplies dwindled and tensions rose, Governor White reluctantly sailed back to England in 1587 to secure more resources for the struggling colony. However, his return was delayed for 3 years due to England's war with Spain and treacherous weather conditions. When White finally returned to Roanoke in 1590, he found the colony completely deserted, with no trace of the 115 settlers, including his own granddaughter, Virginia Dare. The only clue left behind was the word Croatoan, carved into a fence post, and Crow etched into a nearby tree. Theories about the colonists' fate range from assimilation into local tribes to unsuccessful attempts at relocation, but the truth remains a mystery to this day. Modern archaeological efforts continue to uncover clues, but the disappearance of the Roanoke colony remains one of America's oldest and most intriguing unsolved mysteries. The lost colony of Roanoke continues to captivate imaginations, reminding us of the challenges faced by early settlers and the enduring enigmas of our past.
Imagine a time when deception was as powerful as weaponry. In the shadow of global conflict, Operation Paul Revere emerged as a clandestine initiative undertaken by the United States during the 1940s. This operation was designed to mislead the enemy about American troop movements and intentions. As the war raged across Europe, the U.S. military realized that the enemy could gain vital intelligence from aerial reconnaissance and intercepted communications. To counteract this, they devised a series of diversionary tactics. These included fake radio transmissions, misleading troop movements, and even the creation of dummy tanks and aircraft to simulate real military presence. The operation's name, inspired by the American revolutionary figure known for his midnight ride, symbolized the mission's aim to alert and mislead the enemy. By keeping Axis forces guessing, the U.S. could conduct actual maneuvers elsewhere with reduced risk. This audacious campaign of deception played a crucial role in several key operations, significantly impacting the tide of conflict. Operation Paul Revere remains a testament to the ingenuity of military strategy, emphasizing that sometimes the best offense is a clever misdirection. In the spring of 845, Paris became the target of a Viking raid that would etch its place in history. Led by the formidable chieftain Ragnar Lodbrok, a fleet of approximately 120 ships and thousands of Norse warriors descended upon the city. This audacious assault was not merely a quest for plunder, it was an attempt to assert dominance over the burgeoning Frankish kingdom. As the Vikings approached, the Parisians, caught off guard, fortified their defenses, but the city was ill-prepared for the ferocity of the invaders. The Vikings, known for their remarkable naval prowess, sailed up the Seine River, overwhelming the city's defenses with their swift raids and brutal tactics. The siege lasted for months, with the Parisians holding out against the relentless attacks. However, the Viking forces proved too strong, and their reputation for violence struck terror into the hearts of the populace. Ultimately, a ransom of 7,000 livres of silver was paid to Ragnar, allowing him to withdraw and leaving the city battered but intact. This event marked the beginning of the Viking Age's influence on France, shaping the cultural landscape for centuries to come. On June 28, 1914, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo became the spark that ignited World War I. The heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, Ferdinand was killed alongside his wife, Sophie, by Gavrilo Princip, a Serbian nationalist. This act was deeply rooted in the rising tide of nationalism and political discontent in the Balkans, while the assassination itself was a personal and political statement. It triggered a complex web of alliances among European powers. Austria-Hungary sought to punish Serbia, leading to an ultimatum. When Serbia's response was deemed unsatisfactory, Austria-Hungary declared war on July 28, 1914. This declaration activated a series of alliances, pulling Russia to defend Serbia, Germany to support Austria-Hungary, and eventually dragging all of Europe into conflict. Within weeks, the continent was engulfed in war, which would last until 1918, claiming millions of lives. The consequences reshaped borders, societies, and international relations. This moment marked a turning point, not just for Europe, but for the entire world, paving the way for future conflicts and the modern political landscape. In 1781, a harrowing event known as the Zong Massacre revealed the horrific realities of the transatlantic slave trade. A British ship, the Zong, was transporting enslaved Africans when a disease outbreak led to fears of cargo loss. In a shocking act of desperation, the ship's crew chose to throw 132 enslaved individuals overboard, seeking to claim insurance for their losses. This gruesome act was initially met with legal debate over whether the captain's actions were justifiable, igniting a public outcry against the inhumanity of slavery. The case reached the British courts, where the insurance claim was ultimately deemed legitimate, raising profound ethical questions about human life and property rights. The Zong Massacre became a catalyst for the abolition movement, prompting activists like Olaudah Equiano and Granville Sharp to campaign against the slave trade. Their efforts eventually contributed to the passing of the Slavery Abolition Act in 1833. This tragic event starkly illustrated the moral failures of an era that commodified human lives, reminding us of the ongoing struggle for human rights and dignity in our world today.